guys, what's up? Alright, it's Double Deuce back. Oh, today I'm playing with the new Toyan gas version V8, and I'm a happy guy. So, I want to go over a couple of small things that I've seen. So, rise and shine, it's engine time. Grab your favorite smoke, beverage, or popcorn and hang out with Double Deuce today. Because we're going to go over a couple of things here as I go along. I'm not shotgunning the kit and building it in one night like I used to. I want to take my time, make sure I don't miss nothing. I've seen a lot of things online, so, you know. So here we go. So right now I'm seating my crankshaft. Yeah, it still has a little hard spot in it here and there, but nothing this won't cure. Just take this right here, or any kind of lubricant, and just lube your bearings up real good. And then let it seat itself in. Now, I personally like to go in the direction that the motor runs, which was counterclockwise. That's what I'm doing here. And sometimes you got to give it a little back and forth, up and down, a little strain on it. Now, that makes me happy. I take care of the, it's kind of a weird hard spot in these journals here, but I think, you know, looking at it in an engineering aspect, I think they did that on purpose. To bring the fuel into the gap, the oil in the crank into the gap to roll it around, because everything else seems to be pretty good on this. The rear is just a little out of round, but I think once you get everything bolted down with the bearing, it's not going to wobble, because it is a really, I guess, delicate crankshaft, but it's made out of steel. It's, you know, it's a lot better than the other ones they had. I'm telling you, they really impressed me on this one. So now, another thing that I had seen, like I say, it's going to be a short video, guys. I'm still a little under the weather, but I wanted to get something up for you guys because I don't like letting people down. One thing that I did see, these water jackets that go into the side here for your hoses are a lot bigger. That's a plus. And even though the hole still looks small, it's a lot bigger than the last ones, which is wicked cool. Another thing that I did notice, which I was so excited about, was the water pump shaft actually has a keyway in it. Now, when you look at this, look at that. It's not Loctited, glued like the system. So that's going to be a good thing, because it's going to turn all the time. You're not going to worry about that. I did see online, somebody said that the gasket's not thick enough here when you put your water pump housings on to make a thicker gasket, but you can check that out when you get there. Okay, now here's another thing. This here was one thing that I was really, I guess, shocked by, that they would do this, and it's in a good way. Now, you got your lifter, your puddle. It's flat on the bottom. Right here, it's flat. But they got this tiny ball bearing, which I can't even grab because I don't have any pliers here. But they got this really tiny ball bearing that acts as a roller bearing on the camshaft. So it's not dragging the whole bottom of your lifter around the cam, because that, you know, believe it or not, all these little things that they've done to this engine creates horsepower. It doesn't take away from it. So, but like I say, it's I'm just doing it little at a time. I did see somebody had said to test your ring gaps, but these engines are actually made just to be thrown together and ran and let them seat themselves. If you want to go ahead and, you know, make everything perfectly flawless, you can do that, you know, but don't throw it out there like it's a major problem, because I've never once had any problems with ring gaps, these new rods, all that stuff. Start it up, break it in slowly. You know, that doesn't mean, like, don't be me. Don't fire it up and peg the throttle to, you know, 14 grand and hold it there before the thing even heats up or before it even seats itself. These engines have to, like all engines, when I worked for Chevrolet, there was a procedure to start each engine. New cars came in off the truck. First thing that happened was that car got brought in, put on a lift, and they changed the oil because it had just 20 weight break-in oil in them cars. And what it was to do, we had to take it for a ride, come back, change the oil. And there was a procedure. Start it up, let it run for a minute, take it down the road, get it up to like 55, 60 miles an hour, and just back off the throttle. And the break-in process seemed to work better on the standard transmission cars than it did the automatics. The automatics, you had to drop it in the lower gear and slow it down. What that does is it puts back pressure on your rings with that thin oil, and it's just washing all the sludge out from everything mating together. And yes, they did overheat. Brand new cars would boil over right in the parking lot because with everything mating together, it got so hot that the coolant could not cool it. So, you know, this is a lesson. It's a lesson I want to teach everybody, but it's a common thing to me growing up with engines, you know. So, you know, like I said, there was a bulletin that was sent out when I was working as a field engineer for GM. Parts and processes that are omitted cause no future warranty problems or customer problems. And they were right about that. So the Toyan V8 has really been simplified to the fact of it's got a distributor, which I did want to point out on the very top of the distributor. If you look really close, it's got the firing order on it, just like the Sisson V8 does. Being that cap's kind of an amber yellow, it's hard to see it, but you'll see the firing order on the cap for the Toyan V8. And, you know, it's like, I can get to these, if people want to see close-ups of them, as I put it together, I will explain and show the cool things that I see about this kit. And the reason I said it's more, I guess, useful as a RC car, truck, whatever, boat engine, because it only needs, this means this thing will run upside down, okay, if it flips over, because it does not have an oil pan full of oil. Like the Sisson V8 over here, it's going to have an oil pan full of oil, and if your project build flips over upside down, you know, it's gonna smoke and make a mess. You know, it's gonna leak oil everywhere. Well, this one here is like a weed whacker. Okay, your weed whacker, you can turn any angle, any which way direction, because it runs off two-stroke fuel, gas and oil mixture. Now, to get to that, I don't have my computer in front of me. I got a message from SterlingKit.com. They really going like all out with their new, I guess, customer relations and all this stuff, which is great. They are going to, Toyan and them are going to redo the whole instruction manual for this engine here and add to it, I should say, showing you where the spark plug wires go, what kind of a coolant you need, what kind of oil you need to mix with your gas, your break-in procedures. It's just, and they're talking about offering a kit with tools for your torque specs for all your bolts, because I've noticed a lot of these bolts have been breaking in everybody else's projects and stuff, and I've had a couple break too, but you know, I kind of blamed it on myself because I'm the kind of guy that can't open up a newspaper without ripping it in half, you know. So any bolt, I got to give it the old bend her and give it a twist, and sometimes you can really stretch a bolt way too far, and as soon as it heats up, the heat actually expands and breaks the bolt. So sometimes you don't really need the bolts that tight, you just need a little Loctite, you know what I'm saying? So now, one thing they say on the oil pan, you got to glue the oil pan here. It's got a nice little channel in here, you know. And this is what I'm going to use. I've always used this stuff. It's the Ultra Black Permatex. It resists oil and all that stuff. I'm just going to run a bead of that around here on the pan when I go to put it together. But I'm going to take my pistons, install them, and then I'm going to you know, give it a run in with the old drill again and soak down the cylinders with this stuff. Now this stuff here is actually, it's from Worth, from Germany. It's HHSK. It used to be HHS 2000. This works well in the hobby that we have because it's a spray-on like lube. It goes on thin, evaporates, and it works tremendously great under high pressure. Things like door hinges, springs, you know, gear lashes. You will actually see this stuff look like the sun with flare-ups. It'll come out and it'll get sucked right back onto the gear again. It doesn't throw itself all over the place. I don't know what, you can buy this online. I always keep a couple of cans around with this stuff. This has really changed my life in quieting down gearboxes and, you know, all that stuff. It does get a little thick, so I don't know if you can use it in the HG P407 or the Tamiya Bruiser, but you know, in the gearboxes. But it does work well in the rear ends, the differentials, you know. So, anyways, guys, I just wanted to check in, say hi. It's funny because I ordered 4mm brass nipples because I was going to change these ones out because they have an angle on them, and inside that screw that goes in there is really small, and these are way bigger than 4mm. These look like 5, maybe 6mm. I haven't measured them yet, but they're good size water inlet and outlets. So, you know, they did their homework on this. So, you know, don't throw them under the bus. We're learning. This is like they're listening. They want to have, you know, a high. I mean, this is all we have, and we're all they have. So, you know what I mean. So the better they are at building these things, I can only see it right now that someday there's going to be a complete kit with the engine and an RC car. And, you know, my plan is to try to put this in something economical, you know, or something everybody has laying around, and, you know, give it the old thrash test and beat the pants off of it and see how it goes, because, hey, you only live once, so you got to screw it up right the first time, you know what I'm saying? So, anyways, guys, like, share, subscribe if you want. Any questions, comments, I'm still working on them. Actually, I missed 2 days last week. I was homesick. Because you seen my last video, I was having a flu, and guess what? It's coming around again. So, but it's not as bad as it was last week. So, but I will get to the questions and comments, and like I say, you know, Love to all, and I'll catch you later, man. Adios.